Joining us now, former RNC member, executive committee member, former New Hampshire Republican Party chair, and co-founder of the Lincoln Project, Jennifer Horn. Jen, I miss you. It has been too long.
Well, thank you. It has been way too long. I cannot believe that you're sitting outside right now. You've lost your mind.
I have a heated vest on. I've got a heater blowing at my feet. I'm doing very well. Let me ask you about what those women were just telling me, which is, listen, they're undeclared voters. They have voted for Democrats in the past. They don't love Joe Biden. They are desperate for somebody else to vote for, as long as that person is not Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis. They want Nikki Haley. Is the Republican Party missing an opportunity here?
The Republican Party has missed 100 opportunities over the last 4 years, haven't they? Excuse me, but they are definitely missing an opportunity here. But here's the catch with all of this, especially in New Hampshire. We always talk about the idea that independent voters can come in on primary day and vote in whichever party they want. And people always talk about that as, gee, is something crazy going to happen? Is something big going to happen? And excuse me, Katie, I apologize. And it never does. There's no question that Donald Trump is just such a bomb thrower. He's just completely blown up the entire political process in our country, that if ever there was a time when people really would organize in a way that having these independents come in and vote with a different party would make a difference, this would be it. But with the competing influence of the Democrats trying to turn out folks to write in Joe Biden, I just don't know how that's going to work out. I don't see a huge influence on the number of voters that Nikki Haley ends up getting here.
Well, tell me what you're hearing in New Hampshire, because when I talk to people, I've been hearing Nikki Haley, Nikki Haley, Nikki Haley. I haven't been hearing Trump as much. I talked to, again, our embed who's been living here for 6 months, who says that she keeps hearing Nikki Haley organically at the grocery store on the street, not so much hearing Donald Trump organically, except for at the events that he's done. Do you see Nikki Haley as actually having a shot in this state now that Chris Christie is out, or are you thinking that it's all Trump all the way?
Yeah, I have to say, Nikki Haley's greatest strength, the best thing that has happened to her candidacy has been that AFP money. There's no question that when that came into the race, that pushed her in a way and was able to get her message out in a way that she was unable to do.
This is the Koch brothers, by the way. We'll tell everybody. Yes, the AFP money is the Koch brothers.
Yes, the Americans for Prosperity, which is funded by the Koch brothers. And that what has really enabled her message to be spread to the degree that it has. That's why people are, using that line about chaos. That's why they're hearing it as often as they are. However, I don't think Nikki Haley beats Donald Trump in New Hampshire. If you look at 538, the average difference between them is still in the double digits. It's 13 points. Could she make that up in a week? Sure, she could. I don't think she's going to, however. And I really think that everything we've seen with Trump, go back and think about 2016, his support is always underestimated. His supporters don't act the way that other regular, activists and supporters do. No matter what the weather is, no matter what the attacks are, no matter what happens in the courtroom over the next 7 days, his people, 100% of them, will turn out. I don't see that enthusiasm for Nikki Haley.
What about Governor Sununu? And I wonder if this affects things, because Governor Sununu is a surrogate for Nikki Haley. He's endorsed her. He's going out and telling everyone, vote for Nikki Haley. But at the same time, he's saying that if Nikki Haley doesn't win, he's going to vote for Donald Trump, no matter if he's convicted, no matter the criminal investigations. What does that say to voters here?
Well, and Nikki Haley says the same thing. And I think that's a big stumbling block for her. If anybody who hasn't already decided, if they're looking for an anti-Trump alternative, and you're out there saying, hey, I'm a better choice than Trump, but I'm going to vote for Trump if he wins, that's really hard to get over. And both she and her loudest, surrogate, they are saying that in every interview, everywhere they go. That's been a problem from the beginning of this primary. And I think that you see that in New Hampshire in the way that the votes have sort of settled in now as well. Now, for Nikki Haley, I heard you talking about this a little while ago. Nikki Haley and DeSantis, what does she need? Does she need to beat Trump in New Hampshire to move on? She has to beat at least everyone but Trump and be really, really close to him. And double digits don't count. Her message hasn't been that Trump is awful and I'm great. Her message has been, I can win. If she can't prove that she can win, if she comes in third in Iowa and comes in second in New Hampshire, and she's still pretty far behind in her own home state, she loses that message. And she has set herself up in a way where she doesn't have a fallback to a message number two.